Hey there, this is James Wilson with BJJ Strength Training Systems, and today I want to share a great exercise called the Rotational Deadlift. The Rotational Deadlift is a unique exercise that works on our lateral hip movement and also our lateral leg drive. And what that means, it works on our ability to move our hips from side to side and also to drive and create force with our legs to the side. Now this helps us on the mat in two very important ways. For me, this exercise was instrumental in learning the double leg takedown. Once you come in and you shoot in and you get down and you bring this leg up, getting ready to take them down, you got to drive to the side, sweep those legs out. This leg right here has to drive laterally to the side in order to finish that takedown down effectively. It was something that I really struggled with when I first started learning double leg takedowns, was getting down into this position and then trying to stand up and then sweep it, and not necessarily being able to create the force laterally and take that lateral step. And so this exercise really helped with that. And then also with shrimping, it's extremely important because when we shrimp, we want to move our hips laterally. And so you'll see from this exercise, we have to really be able to work the hips laterally. If we have trouble with this, when we shrimp, what we're gonna do is not shoot the hips out to the side, we're going to shoot from our lower back and push basically our lower back out to the side, and our hips will follow that, but that's much different than actually shooting the hips out to the side. So again, this exercise will help us with that. So I'll show you what it looks like, break down a couple things that help you do a little better, avoid some common mistakes. So I'm going to demonstrate this with a sandbag. I like doing this with a sandbag. I'll show you a couple different variations that you can do with the sandbag, but I'll also show you how you can do the basic variation with a kettlebell or a dumbbell as well. So if you don't have access to a sandbag, you can still use this exercise. So what I'm going to do is start with my feet about shoulder width apart, and I'm going to be standing next to my sandbag. I'm going to shift all my weight, or most of my weight, about 89% of my weight, over to the leg next to that sandbag. So now I'm very light on this toe right here. I've got my heel off the ground, very light on my toe. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my hips back and swing them over to the side to bring me down. Now you notice as I did that, my leg followed me. So because I'm light on this toe, my toe, I'll be able to rotate and that'll come in. That'll just help open up my hips a little bit, make this a little bit easier at first. So again, we're here, we're gonna shift those hips back and to the side, get my sandbag. Now I'm gonna drive through the heel and I'm gonna come back up, squeeze my butt cheeks, get tall and thin at the top, and then I'm gonna reverse that direction. Keep my shoulders pulled back and down. I don't wanna let my chest cave. As I'm coming down, shift those hips back. Good posture in this position here. And again, driving the leg. As you're coming up, you're pushing that heel into the ground, and you have to really learn to drive to the side in order to come up. And again, this is very similar to that lateral leg drive that you need for finishing off a good double leg takedown. So you can make this a little bit more difficult, work on the hip mobility a little bit more by keeping both feet planted on the ground and having to shift the hips over and then come back up. And again, keeping that good posture. What I don't want to let happen is as I'm coming down, start reaching for the ground. I don't want to let my chest cave. Good strong shoulder position, good strong posture. And this is going to force a little bit more lateral hip mobility, and this is going to work a little bit more on what we're needing for good shrimp. So again, when we're shrimping, we're wanting to make sure that we're pushing our hips out to the side. So I'm going to come up, and I'm going to push my hips out to the side instead of trying to like just push my lower back. So, and my hips will kind of follow versus really being able to shoot those hips out. So that lateral hip movement is behind this exercise. So the better you get with this exercise, the better you're gonna get with that lateral hip movement. Now, real quick, before I wrap up, I wanna show you, you can do this basic version with a kettlebell. You would just hold the kettlebell in front of you like this. You can just bring it over to the side and back up. Remember though, the kettlebell is gonna make you come down to the ground a little bit more. So getting down to the ground is not the goal. Getting your hips to move the way that we want while maintaining posture is. So if you find that you need to put some blocks on the floor to come up a little bit, or don't worry about coming all the way down to the ground, just when you feel your posture start to go, when you feel your hips not shifting over anymore, then stop, come back up. You can do it with a dumbbell, same way, holding it in front of you, shifting the hips over, light touch, and then back up. So, real quick, I'll show you a cool variation with the sandbag that will really help add a lot of power to that double leg takedown finish. And that is coming up and turning it into a clean. So when you come up, create enough power to be able to clean it up. Bring it down, back down. You're really fine with this move here. You have to drive, you gotta create that lateral hip, the lateral leg drive. You can't get away with kind of standing up and trying to twist into it. So again, give you a really good feeling of what that feels like, get you strong with it, and then you can transfer that to the mat more efficiently rather than trying to figure out how to fix how you move on the mat. Use this exercise here to help you move better off the mat, and that'll help you move better on the mat. So anyways, once again, this has been James Wilson with BJJ Strength Training Systems. You can check me out on the web at bjjstrengthtraining.com. If you have any questions or comments, please post them. I'll get to them as soon as I can, and I'll talk to you next time.